Good evening, everyone. I am lucky to have one of our 2023 World Armlifting Championship competitors, and he'll be lifting this year in the Arnold Pro in just under a month, and who has great fashion taste, Jake Monroe. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Riccardo. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. All right. So why don't you're a quiet guy, super smart. Why don't you, super good lifter. Why don't you tell the people who don't know you a little bit about your background so they can get acquainted with you?
Sure. Yeah. So I talk a lot about at work about my work background, but I guess we can start with my athletic background since we're on arm lifting. So I played sports my entire life. Basketball mostly as a kid, up through high school. And then I developed an interest in lifting, so I became a competitive powerlifter. I did that for 10 years, from 2010 to 2020. And then through that process, somewhere in there, I really developed a taste for like strongman grip type sport, and especially steel bending. So I did a lot of short steel bending, which we can talk about here in a little bit if you'd like. But I did that for a number of years, and then I sort of got introduced to grip sport in that time. As far as a personal background, I have a PhD in physiology from Purdue University, and I currently work at a pharmaceutical company doing clinical development for immunological drugs. So
Wow.
yeah, it's very fun.
Cool. Well, thank you for helping develop medicine. Modern medicine wouldn't be the same without scientists like you who study this stuff and make us all better. So I know I am very appreciative with my health issues in 2020. I'm very appreciative of modern medicine. So thank you.
Absolutely, that's good to hear because sometimes it doesn't always feel like you're making a difference, right? It's very slow, very slow. Research
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you don't just open up two vials, mix them together, and then have the drug of the century. That's not how it
Oh,
works.
if only, Ricardo, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's I'm well aware as just a lowly science teacher. I'm well aware that the scientific process is riddled with many more failures than successes. So,
It is very unforgiving.
yeah,
But I mean, it's the same process of training, right? It's the same process of preparing for a meet. It can be really smooth, and you think that's how it always goes, and then you find out that it doesn't always go that way, right? It's a matter of trial and error to infinitude, and so it carries over nicely from my hobbies to my career and my thought process.
yeah. Well, I think your arm lifting is going just fine right now. So, I first met you. You competed at the Arnold as a literally last minute entrant in
Yeah.
the open competition on the Sunday. And a lot of those guys were much heavier than you, like much heavier. So it wasn't a fair fight, so to speak. And I don't know how much you prepared, if anything, for that. But at the World Championships, you were vastly improved. And, you know, your work led you to your Arnold invitation. So why don't you talk about the Olympia and what your feelings were about the Olympia and the atmosphere, and just talk about it for the folks that were not there.
Sure. Yeah, I'll start with last year's Arnold because it's kind of an interesting story. I was just there with a friend watching, so I had done no preparation at all. Um, and I'd been, doing all the booths and like all the challenges at the booths all week, and I was like tired, and I was sitting there watching arm lifting, and I was like, this looks really fun. This looks like something I would really like to do. And I called you on a whim. I was like, hey, I saw that, I don't know if you have any openings. You're like, we just happen to have someone drop out. Do you wear a size large t-shirt? I was like, yes, I do. So
Yep,
it
it
just
was
sort
meant
of
to be.
it was like serendipity. Um, and yeah, I think I weighed 201 pounds in the 220 class. I didn't really do any preparation, but it was a lot of fun. It was fun to learn how the competitions work, and the atmosphere was incredible there at the Arnold with the stage and all the people passing by. We had a good audience that stopped to watch just for the open competition. So that led me into doing some of the super series stuff in the summer. And then I was able to do the World Championships in Orlando, which was a ton of fun, right? Competing against some of the best people in the world, people from all over the world. And I had a ton of fun doing that. I did a lot of preparation for that. And I think, as you said, my performance was a lot better. But
Absolutely. Yeah.
I've done a lot of prep since then. So
Good.
Arnold's going to be even better. But as far as the World Championships go, I was extremely impressed with the whole process. Like it was a ton of fun, and that venue was great too, or the Orange County Convention Center. So yeah, that was great.
Yeah, well, thanks. I agree. It was great. But this Arnold is going to blow last Arnold out of the water because you guys are lifting on the Rogue Strength stage. You will probably have 5,000 to 7,000 people in front of you at all times, maybe more. The Arnold this year, the ticket sales are through the roof. It will be fantastic. We have a star-studded field, including yourself. So you said you've been ongoing in preparations. What's your favorite event of the three that we have here at the Arnold?
So the event I'm probably the best at is the hilt, but I would say my favorite event is the axle because I think it's the best test of grip strength overall. So yeah, my prep's been going really well. I train with blue fat grips mostly to get ready because I don't have a Rogue axle, but my training's gone really well. I'm at about a little over 300 pounds on that lift, so that's pretty good progress from where I was in the mid 200s before. So, and that should translate. I think it's going to translate to, I don't know. You can be the guess, but it's going to be somewhere in the mid 300s with the axle. Probably it's a little bit more difficult lift. The blue fat grips is. And then hilt, I like hilt. I mean, you like the things you're good at, right? Like I can do a very respectable weight on the hilt, or the grandfather clock, I guess is what we're actually using in the competition. But I like to train any grip implement. I'll try anything. They're all fun. Hubs, pinching, blobs, like I said, steel bending. It's all fun to me.
Well, that's great. What advice would you give to someone else who might be in your shoes? They're watching this interview and they're thinking, man, I want to try arm lifting. I want to do it. I mean, you literally called me. It couldn't have lined up better, but what advice would you give to someone else?
I mean, the advice I would give anyone about anything, just do it. Right? Just if you're thinking about it, if it seems interesting, do it, right? The experience is worth it. And you want to go through life with good experiences. And this is one that I can tell you for sure. If you have the opportunity to compete in the Arnold Open or any of the Armlifting USA competitions, it's a really, really excellent experience. I think when I talk to people, whether it's about powerlifting or other sports, they're just very concerned about the level they are when they start, right? They're like, well, I'm not that good. Well, except for elite athletes, no one's really, really good right off the bat. It takes years to practice and get better. So just know that if you've done a competition, if you stood on the stage and you did it, then you are doing better than everyone who hasn't, right?
Exactly.
You have actual competition lifts to gauge your progress off of. If you aren't competing and you're just a gym lifter, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's apples and oranges. So, get out there, get on the stage. It's a ton of fun. Arm lifting, especially, is just the format of, last man standing is such a cool format. It's very different than powerlifting, which is what I was used to, where you get 3 attempts, where you have to kind of say, okay, I only get 3 tries at this. So I have to make sure that third lift is like my best, but not too much. Whereas now, you can be a little bit more, you can have a little more fun with it, right? If I'm having a really good day, I can take another lift, right? I can do 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. The other side is if you're having a really bad day, then make sure you don't start too heavy. But it's a lot of fun. The last man standing thing gets a lot of good competition and camaraderie. So if I was talking to anyone out there to do any competitive sport. If you have the ability and you have the interest, do it. It's a really good experience.
Well, that was very articulate and very well said, Jake. And I agree. I mean, that's why I really try to put some nice competitions on for people to give them something, experiences like you mentioned, that you'll remember forever. And that's part of the joy I have, besides being a lifter, and improving on my own PRs. I love making the nice competitions for everyone. And I really think this is going to be great. I'm very excited to see the results, and of course to see all the people, but to see the results that people, because people have been training super hard. Everyone tells me different little nuggets here and nuggets there, and you're gonna have to bring your A game, and including me, everyone's gonna have to bring their A game, because only it's getting better, and more people are coming in and trying it, and they're good, and more people from powerlifting and strongman and everything. So, oh yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, having the idea of having several thousand people watching us is awesome. I love a big stage. I love to perform on a bit with a lot of pressure. So it's going to be interesting to see how everyone does in this new sort of bigger venue compared to what we had this year.
Oh yeah, it's bigger for sure. So yeah, I mean but we're very planned out and ready, and I'm very much looking forward to it. As far as the Super Series, do you think you're going to be competing in the Super Series this year?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do Super Series this year. This is my last competition. Probably I'm going to do the 90 kilo class. That cut's getting a little bit difficult for me. So I'll probably do the Super Series at 100 kilos.
Yeah, I'm older than you, but as we get older, it gets harder and harder to cut and to do a daily existence also, and have a real job or multiple jobs. And yeah, it's not as easy as you get older, I can tell you that. I mean, I'm permanently now in the 110 class. The 100 is just too hard for me to make.
Yeah, it was never easy to cut, even when I was younger. Water cuts are never fun. But when you get older, you're like, should I really be doing this? Like, do I really need to do this anymore? Like, and my goal is to have my best performances now. So I would probably only cut a significant amount of weight if it was meaning I would potentially win like a world championship. That would be my only way to do that. Other than that, it's more like in the 220 class, I'll probably lift bigger weights for that Super Series. So that's what I'll do.
Right. Well, a wise move from a wise guy. Do you have anything else you want to tell the viewers at home? Because it's pretty exciting. I'm going to see you in about 3.5 weeks, and everyone else, the whole gang. Do you have any closing comments for the viewers at home, Jake?
No, but if anyone on this is my competition, they're watching, they should be ready.
Good.
I'm coming. I want everyone there. I want everyone at their best.
Well, I from what I understand, I think you'll get your wish. So I hope you have a great last 3.5 weeks of training. Safe travels. I'll see you soon. And I look forward to seeing more PRs on the stage for you.
All right. Thanks, Riccardo.